Hi, I'm Tara from GCS. We are a geospatial IT services firm in Missoula, Montana. Today, I'm going to demo our suite app, GeoBusiness. For this demo, I am a field sales rep in Boston looking to visit all of my prospects in the area who are currently in discussion status to determine, through sales visits, which prospects are going to be the best return on investment for my future sales efforts. I'm going to plan my day tomorrow by creating a driving route to as many prospects of this status as possible. This is the first video in our two-part series about GeoBusiness's route planning function. In the second video, we'll demo the mobile interface that reps will use to navigate in the field. It's easy to access the GeoBusiness Explorer app within your NetSuite dashboard. Just click on the GeoBusiness Explorer link on the left-hand side of the page. I've already determined that I want to see only prospects tomorrow. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen that there are various types of NetSuite records available to display on the map. I'm going to select prospects and deselect any other records that aren't relevant for scheduling on this particular day. Another important feature to note is the legend associated with each type of NetSuite record. At the left of the checkbox next to every type of record is a small arrow that will expand the legend so you can see the full title of each status, which actually corresponds with the letters shown on the map point icons. There's also a few different base map options for you to choose from. So, after selecting prospects, I want to narrow the field even further to include only prospects of a certain status. In this case, I'm interested in seeing only those prospects who are in discussion. Click the ellipsis to the right of prospects in the menu on the left. A pop-up will appear, and then click View an Attribute Table, and that will display the attribute table at the bottom of the screen. It's a list of all prospect records with supplemental information that you would typically see in NetSuite, such as primary contact and buying readiness. To filter prospects further, click Options at the top left of the table, which shows a drop-down menu, and then click Filter. We are going to filter prospects by status, so I will select Status from the left-hand drop-down menu and Prospect in Discussion from the second drop-down menu. Click OK, and you'll see in the map extent that any prospects in a different status are now filtered out. I'm going to zoom in on the area that I'll be visiting, which in this case is the Boston metro area. Now I want to decide which of the in-discussion prospects I want to try and visit within a day. I have certain time constraints that need to be addressed in that schedule, but I'm going to be overly optimistic and select quite a few prospects. I can select prospects by clicking on the selection tool, which is right under the search bar at the top left of the map window. The selection tool pop-up that appears is movable, so you can place it wherever is most convenient for you. It gives you the ability to draw polygons around the records that you want to select for further analysis. I'll draw a polygon around the prospect records in the Boston-Cambridge area, and then an outlier near Framingham that I want to try and see as well. I can select this one by holding the Shift button while drawing a new polygon around it. You can easily see now that these records are selected, as their icons on the map have changed. They're highlighted in blue in the attribute table as well. Now that I've selected the records that are relevant for my schedule, I'm going to create a new layer for them. This will make it easy to get an optimized route in the next step. In the selection tool pop-up, click the ellipsis next to prospects. You will also see a small number that shows how many prospects you have selected. Click Create Layer in the drop-down menu and name the layer. I'm going to name it Prospect Visits. At this point, I can go ahead and deselect the other prospects from the layer menu on the left, X out of the selection tool, and collapse the attribute table. In order to get an optimized route, I now have to define my time constraints and visitation criteria for each stop. I can do this by clicking the Analysis tool at the top right hand of the screen. In the drop-down menu for the first step, I just need to make sure that the layer we just created is selected in Section 1. I then have the option to switch travel modes. In this case, driving time is the clear choice, but you can also choose walking or truck driving time for different scenarios. Now we have to define our starting point. To do this, we want to have the location layer available so we can select the company's office address as the start point. Reselect the location records on the left-hand side of the screen. Then, click the map point icon to the right of the drop-down menu in the Analysis tool. Click on the appropriate location icon to select it as a starting point. In this case, the office is the location near Tufts University, so that's going to be our start and end point. I also need to make sure to set the date for tomorrow and the start time for 7 a.m. Make sure to have Return to Start checked off, as this will give you an optimized route for a round trip back to the office at the end of the day. Or, if you wanted to return home, you could choose your home location. The route optimization feature offers a lot of flexibility in that regard. The maximum number of vehicles for this route is 1, since I'm an individual rep planning for myself. GeoBusiness does include the ability to get optimized routes for multiple vehicles, which is useful if you're a sales manager planning for an entire team. In this case, we're just worried about one route. We have 11 prospects selected, so we will include 11 stops. Then I'll specify how much time I need to spend with each prospect. Each of these in-discussion prospects requires specific attention, so I'll put 60 minutes to make sure I have enough time to devote to each. For the total route time, I'll put 10 hours, since I'm planning to work a little extra on this day. The analysis tool has all the info it needs now to run, so I'm going to press run and let the application create my optimized route. Now that the tool is finished running, we can see straight away that it's not going to be possible to visit some of these outlying prospects that we identified initially outside of the Boston metro area. The analysis tool created 3 new layers that we can select and take a look at to see if the current optimized route aligns with my priorities for the day. For instance, we can view unassigned stops in the attribute table to decide whether the exclusion of these stops would make it necessary to reconfigure the route. We also have a breakdown of transportation time in between stops, and of the prospects that did fit into the route based on the constraints we entered. You can analyze this information and decide if you'd like to move forward with the current route, or rerun the analysis tool with different parameters to include the stops that are missing. The geographic scheduling tool leverages the power of location intelligence to streamline your sales planning activities to increase efficiency and ultimately increase sales. You can contact us for a demo or a free trial at gcs.yourdatasmarter.com. Thanks for watching the first video in our 2-part series on GeoBusiness's route planning function. Please check out the next video, which is linked below, to see GeoBusiness's mobile interface, which reps will use to navigate while in the field.